Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Jai Hind. And I hope I am properly audible and visual to all of you. Good evening, everyone. I am fine, and I hope all of you are also doing well. And I also hope I am properly audible and visual to all of you. Good evening. Okay, so in the last week, we could not discuss the current affairs, but today onwards, we would be starting with this current affair discussion, and some of the topics, which we have not discussed in the last week, we will try to cover them in this week along with the classes. Okay, so we will try to cover them also. We will try to incorporate that also. Okay. Good evening. चेहरा काफी बदल गया है. Yes, new look. So there is one thing, change is the only constant, but it is temporary. It is temporary. It will be the same as it used to be. It is for a temporary period. I think for 2 or 3 months. For 2 or 3 months, it will be like this. And after 2 or 3 months, I will come back to the same. I will come back to the same look as it was before. Okay. Yes, Satish, there is one more announcement. From today onwards, we would have a separate class in Hindi also. Like right now, we are having this one class at 5 p.m. in English. Okay. At 5 p.m. we are having the English session. So at 6 p.m. we would be starting in Hindi medium also. Okay. So from today onward, we would start in Hindi medium also at 6 p.m. on the second channel, that is KGS IAS Hindi. So there we would again start the current affair discussion. So there I would entirely speak in Hindi. Okay. So in that session, I would entirely speak in Hindi, and this is one session where we would be taking it in English. I hope that works. Yes. So let's see what are the topics. The first topic which we are going to discuss today is from the editorial section. It is from the editorial section from polity. It is about the fourth branch of government. This is a very important editorial. We will try to understand it. Here we have some global examples also. So this is one such topic which we are going to discuss. Second topic which we are going to see is proposed GST reforms. It is from the economy section. That is one thing which we are going to discuss. Third one is from science and tech, GS paper 3, science and tech section, and it is about the patent regime in India. We will try to see that how many patents are being filed from India, what is the status on that. So that is one thing which we are going to discuss. And fourth topic, which is quite much infamous these days, that is honor killing. Okay. That is honor killing. So this is one topic which we are going to discuss in today's session. It is part of your society and social justice. Okay. This is part of your GS paper 1 society section. So that is one thing which we are going to discuss in today's session. Okay. Yes, of course I remember you, Firoj. Okay. Now, so let's start with this one part, the fourth branch of government. General science ki class. Muskan, you will get an update on this. Due to some issues, it was not conducted, but from tomorrow, it will be there on the time. Okay. So here we are starting with this one topic, the fourth branch for government. Okay. Now see, what is the context here? The context is basically about Election Commission of India. The context is with respect to Election Commission of India. Right now, there are so many controversies which are going on with respect to Election Commission of India. Okay. You know that recently this Election Commission of India, it has carried out special intensive revision in case of Bihar. So there is a controversy which is going on with respect to special intensive revision in case of Bihar, and some people are alleging that in this special intensive revision, many names has been struck down. Many names has been struck down. There is so many irregularities. There is so many irregularities in the voter list which has been published by the Election Commission of India. So that is one part. There is also one thing which is going on. There is also an allegation. There is also an allegation by the opposition parties that in some of the constituencies, some fake voters have been added and they might have manipulated the election result. Okay. So there is also an issue of fake voters. Okay. There is also an issue of fake voters. So these are two issues which are going on. And there is a third issue, that is about appointment process of Election Commission. Appointment and independence of Election Commission. So these are three things which are going on. The SIR, special intensive revision. Okay. Then we have the fake voter issue, plus we have this one issue of the appointment and independence of Election Commission of India. Okay. So these are the issues which are going on with respect to Election Commission of India. These issues are there in the news. Okay. Now, in this context, this article is saying that when we look at the appointment process, when we are looking at the appointment process, there was a very famous case of Anup Varanwal versus Union of India case of 2023. Okay. So we have this one case, Anup Varanwal case. It was there in 2023. Can you tell me this one part? What was the ruling in the case of Anup Varanwal case? Okay. Can you tell me what was the ruling in the case of Anup Varanwal case? I think you all know it. We have discussed it many a times. We will come to that, Nandini. At 6 p.m. we will talk about it on KGS IAS Hindi. So we will discuss about it at 6 p.m. So tell me about this one, Anup Varanwal case 2023. What was the outcome? Like we have discussed it many a times. It was with respect to the appointment committee. It was with respect to the appointment process. It was related to the appointment process. Okay. And in this appointment process, it was like said by the Supreme Court, it was directed by the Supreme Court that there would be a committee. There would be a committee for appointment. A committee for appointment. And this committee is going to be like, it is going to have 3 members. One of the member is the Prime Minister plus leader of opposition in Lok Sabha and plus the Chief Justice of India. This was one of the verdict given by the Supreme Court in Anup Varanwal case. Okay. Why it was done? Because initially the provision was said this, like before this case, before 2023, the provision was this, that Election Commission of India is going to be appointed by the Government of India, by the President of India. So before 2023, there was the sole discretion of Government of India. But then after what we see, that in Anup Varanwal case, Supreme Court said that Election Commission of India is a very important institution it has to remain impartial, it has to remain fair. Okay. And for that very process, we are trying to modify this. But then there was another act. Okay. There was an act, Chief Election Commission and Other Election Commissioners Appointment and Condition of Service and Terms of Office Act 2023. Okay. So there was an act. There was an act of parliament in 2023 itself. This act said that the committee, this act said that the committee is going to have 3 members, PM plus leader of opposition plus union cabinet minister. Union cabinet minister. So this is the current thing. This is the current mechanism. This is the current mechanism. Now we can see here that first Supreme Court has given this one judgment, and then after an act of parliament was there, and it had changed the committee. Earlier, before 2023, it was in the favor of government, it was in the favor of executive. After this act, again, it is in the favor of executive, that basically executive is deciding who would be the election commissioner. So that is one part, it is solely being decided by the executive. So you can get this one idea from here, that if the executive is having control over the Election Commission of India's appointment, then it is challenging for any institution. It is challenging for any institution that it might not be able to have that independence. Okay. So this is one part. Now there is another part of it, another section of it. There was a case after this act also, there was a case, Dr. Jaya Thakur and others versus Union of India. There was this one case, Dr. Jaya Thakur versus Union of India case. And in this case, there was a demand. There was this demand, that was stay on 2023 Act. There was a demand by the petitioner that there should be a stay on this act, that Supreme Court should stay this act. But here in 2024, this was the case in 2024, here Supreme Court has rejected this demand. Okay. This demand was rejected. It was rejected by Supreme Court. This demand was rejected by Supreme Court. Now, why did the Supreme Court reject this? Supreme Court simply said that we cannot assume this. We cannot assume this, that if an act has been passed, it is just for tilting it in favor of the executive. We cannot just assume it, and on the basis of that, we cannot stay this order or stay this act. Now, right now also, a number of petitions are already there in Supreme Court regarding this matter, regarding this act. But so far, there has been no such judgment by the Supreme Court regarding this. So this is one such case which is there in case of Election Commission of India. Now, there is one thing. We have a global example. We have this one global example. We have this one global example. What is that example? It is from South Africa. Sometimes when you are writing the mains answer, you can use this one part. Okay. So we are having a global example that is from South Africa. The example is from South Africa. What is this all about? What is this example all about? In South Africa, they have a special provision in their constitution. There is a special provision in their constitution called as Chapter 9 institutions. Chapter 9 institutions. Like in our constitution also, you may have seen that we have a Schedule 9. We have a Schedule 9 in our constitution also. In Schedule 9, if some law is put there, you know that it enjoys immunity from judicial review. Before 1973 at least before 1973, it was immune from judicial review. Now they have a Chapter 9 institution. Okay. So these are autonomous institutions. These are certain autonomous institutions. They are autonomous institutions. They have been simply called as fourth branch of government. They have been simply called as the fourth branch of government, the fourth organ of government. Like we have legislature, we have executive, we have judiciary. They are the three branches of the government. In same manner, in case of South Africa, we have one such good example. There are Chapter 9 institutions. They have been called as fourth branch of government. Okay. Or they have been simply called as institutions which support constitutional democracy. Okay. These are basically the institutions. These are basically the institutions supporting constitutional democracy. So this is one of the very important example which you can always quote in your polity answers. So here we have this one global example. Let me show you what institutions are these. Here we are having certain institutions, like there is one institution of public protector. This institution is investigating and addressing any such improper conduct in state affairs, aiming to ensure accountability and good governance. Okay. So there is a separate institution which is independent of the government, and it is ensuring the accountability and good governance. There is South African Human Rights Commission. We also have Human Rights Commission in India, National Human Rights Commission. It is a statutory body. Many a times it has been called as a toothless tiger. It has been called as a toothless tiger. NHRC, National Human Rights Commission. Okay. Then we are having Commission for Gender Equality. We are having Commission for the Promotion and Protection of Rights of Cultural, Religious and Linguistic Communities. We have also got institutions for religious minorities or cultural minorities. We have institutions for that also. But many of them do not enjoy the same level of autonomy as there in case of South Africa. Okay. They have also Auditor General and Electoral Commission. They have this Electoral Commission also. So these are the Chapter 9 institutions. They have complete autonomy. They enjoy complete autonomy from the government. They don't have any control of the government. Government doesn't decide their appointment. Government doesn't decide their salary or any other things. So this is one such example that in our country also, when there are institutions like Election Commission of India, Comptroller and Auditor General, or for that example, Union Public Service Commission, or any other such institution, National Human Rights Commission, National Commission for Scheduled Caste, National Commission for Scheduled Tribes, they should have more and more autonomy. Okay. So that is one such example. Okay. So I hope this one part is clear, what the editorial is saying all about. And see, this one example is very important for you. This one example is very important for you. You can use this in writing the polity answers. So wherever you have made notes of polity, add that one example. Okay. Now, coming to the second topic, GST reforms. सर आज से करूँ करंट अफेयर्स तो 2020 हाँ बिल्कुल हो सकता है. Of course, it will be useful for you. Okay. So I hope this first topic is clear about this reform. Sorry, about this election commission. Any doubt in this? Any doubt? Any confusion? Okay, so then let's move on to the second topic. Okay, let's move on to the second topic, GST reforms. Okay. So right now there is this one discussion which is going on with respect to GST reforms also. Okay. So let us try to see like what are the proposals, what are the proposals with respect to GST. Okay. There are three major proposals. Okay. There are three pillars or three proposals which are there. Now, before we go into these proposals, you know that there is one thing, GST. This is simply called as goods and services tax. Before the GST regime, there were so many taxes that compliance was very tough. There were so many taxes at union and state level that compliance used to be very much tough. The different businesses, they have to ensure different compliances, they have to ensure different paperworks and many other things. So it was called as there was a time when it was called as license Raj. In same manner, there was a tax burden, tax Raj or tax inspection which was going on at that time. Now what we see that GST was brought in after a decades of discussion, and when GST was introduced in India, it was believed that it is going to transform the business, it is going to also reduce the tax burden on the citizens. So it has subsumed several taxes. It has subsumed several taxes. And right now what we see that there are 4 slabs which are quite famous. It has got 4 slabs. It is simply 5%, 12%, 18%, 28%. These are the 4 slabs which are there. These are the 4 slabs which are there in case of various goods and services. So now what we have seen that the government is proposing this, that we are going to have 2 slabs for most of the item. We are going to have 2 slabs for most of item, 5%, 18%. Okay. And there will be 1 slab for the sin goods, which might be up to 40% also. But these are all proposals. These are all proposals. These are all like things which have been in the news right now. Nothing officially has been said by government, but these are the proposals which have come up. Okay. That 5%, 18%, and for sin goods, it may be up to 40%. So that is the first part. That is the first part which was introduced as part of this. Okay. Now there is second aspect of it. The second aspect is with respect to inverted duty structure. Inverted duty structure. That we are going to bring some reform in the case of inverted duty structure. So first let us try to understand that what actually is this inverted duty structure. Just to give you an idea. Okay. Like suppose that if we talk about fertilizer, in many cases fertilizer have 5% GST. But what we see that the chemicals which are being used for the fertilizers, they have a tax of 18%. So now suppose that there is a company X. There is a company X. It is like manufacturing fertilizer. It is manufacturing fertilizers. Now for purchasing the chemicals, let's say it has purchased chemicals worth rupees 80, and here it has given a tax of 18%. It has given a tax of 18%. On the other hand, on fertilizer, the tax is 5%. So it's not that there is going to be a loss to the X. They will take back they will get the tax back from the government. They will get the tax back from the government. That suppose the ultimate tax is 5%, they have already given 18%, so they are going to get their taxes back. But the tax will be refunded back to them after a certain period of time. So when they are giving more tax, it is like shrinking their capital. This is like shrinking their capital, shrinking their working capital. They will get back the tax. They will get back the tax, but they will get it after a certain period of time. So it is reducing their ability, it is reducing the money with them, so that now they will not be able to produce more and more goods. So that is one challenge. Now, those companies which are dealing in crores, so their tax would also be in crores. So that much money is going with the government. They will get it at later stage of time, but this is shrinking their working capital. So that is one of the challenge. We are seeing that we are having an inverted duty structure. The companies are paying first more tax, and then they are waiting for the refund to come to them. They are waiting for the refund to come to them. So that is one of the challenge which we see in case of inverted duty structure. Why this is happening? Again, due to multiple tax slabs. Due to multiple tax slabs, this is the one factor. So they are going to work on this inverted duty structure also. And third part is of course about the technological integration. Technological integration. Reform in refunds. Reform in refund, e.g. compliance, etc. So third is more of the work of like compliance related, refund related, technological integration. Okay. So third is more about this one part. So there are three pillars on which they are going to work first. Okay. One part is slab. Okay. One part is slab. Second part is inverted duty structure, and third part is the procedural simplification. They are going to simplify the process. So these are the three proposals which have come up with respect to GST. In upcoming times, government will come with a concrete proposal about this reform, and then we will see that in detail also. So right now, this is the one thing which we are having. Yes. So I hope this one part is clear. Now there was a question in UPSC about this GST. There was a question. This was the question in 2017, and I think now all of you can answer it quite easily. The question is this: what are the most likely advantages of implementing goods and services tax? It will replace multiple taxes collected by multiple authorities and will thus create a single market in India. It will drastically reduce the current account deficit of India and will enable it to increase its foreign exchange reserve. It will enormously increase the growth and size of economy of India and will enable it to overtake China in the near future. I hope now we can answer this quite easily. I do not give sufficient time. Okay, I will discuss that, Shiv Shankar, in the upcoming classes, like in the next few days. In the next few days, I will be discussing this strategy, like from September onwards, what you should be all doing. So we will discuss about that. Okay. We will definitely discuss about that what you all should be doing in this case for planning and all. Okay. So what will be answered? I think it is quite easy. It will replace multiple taxes. That one is correct. It will drastically reduce the current account deficit. You have seen over the time there has been no such change. Plus, third one is quite absurd statement that it will enable India to overtake China in the near future. That is also not true. So answer will be option number A. Okay. That is one only. Now, let's come to the next topic. Patent filing in India. Okay. So here there is some data again from the editorial section of the Hindu. We are again having some data from editorial section of Hindu. So let us try to analyze that data. If you see here, this one trend, this is one part like which is showing that how much like patents are being filed. How much patents are being filed. So you can see this one thing, like when we are talking about India, over the years, especially see the data from here. Over the years, we see that there has been a consistently change. There has been a consistent change in the case of IPR being filed in India. We are having more and more filing of patents in India. That is one thing. In fact, India has emerged as the second most patent filing country in the world, and now it is even going to become the first, or it is going to secure the first rank in that patent filing. So what we see that India's performance in patent filing, like the patent being filed by India, India is going to become the leading country. India is emerging as the leading nation in this case. Okay. That India is emerging as the leading nation in the case of patent filing. So now the question is, why this change? Why we are witnessing this change? Okay. From 2015 onwards itself, 2015-16, we have got a new IPR policy. We have got a new IPR policy, and this IPR policy has simplified the process of patent filing. Patent filing has become quite easy. There is online option also. There is 24/7 accessibility of it. Time for it has also been reduced. So there are many factors. The first thing which we can observe from here, that patent filing is increasing in India. That is point one. Second data is about the time. In 2000, the number of years, you can see at that time around 8 years was the average time for granting a patent. For granting a patent, the average time which was taken was up to 8 years. This started to increase, and by 2009-10 you can see that it was reaching up to 9 years. But then after 2010 onwards, we can see a declining trend. And now it is somewhere like within a year, within a few months, now people are getting patents. Okay. So we see that the time taken to provide the patents has also reduced significantly. So time taken has also reduced significantly. That is one factor. Now there is another part of it. Like first we have seen that, like what is the reason behind it? The reason, IPR policy. IPR policy 2016. We see that there is simplification of process. Simplification of process. Second part, we see that online accessibility. Reduction in time. But see, there must be a driver of it. There must be someone who is driving these patent filing in India. So who is leading in this case? Initially, if you see, like when you compare it, in initial period in 2000, 2001, it was the companies and it was the companies which were like responsible for 40 and sometimes even going up to like 50% of patent filing. Okay. Here you can see this one part. This is one section. The companies in 2006, the companies were the one which were responsible for up to 50% of patents filed in India. But over the period of time, you will find that now there is greater participation of the institutions. Now institutions are the one which are having most of the patent filings. Okay. So educational institutions, here we see that the educational institutions, now they have emerged as like 45% patent filing. Up to 45% patent filing, it is coming from the educational institutions. Okay. The share of companies have come down to 18%, 15%. Individuals, they are also increasing. The number of individuals is also increasing. You can see earlier the number of individuals was less than 10%. Now it has increased to more than 30%. So educational institutions plus individuals. So they are like the drivers of patent filing. They are the drivers of patent filing. But this is one side of the story. This is one side of the story, that numbers are looking very good. The numbers are looking quite good. We have got so many patents being filed. We are leading nation in terms of patent filing. Educational institutions and individuals, they are the leaders in patent filing. The time for patent filing has also reduced drastically. Like from 8 years to 10 years, it has come down to a few months. So all these things have improved. But just to give you one such idea, there was a question in UPSC examination. There was a question in UPSC examination. What is the present world scenario of intellectual property rights with respect to life materials? This was a question in 2024. Read this part. Although India is second in the world to file patents, still only a few have been commercialized. Explain the reasons behind this less commercialization. So this is one question which I am giving you for practice. In tomorrow's session, before the beginning of the session, we are going to discuss this part, especially this second part, that India is second in the world to file patents, still only a few have been commercialized. Explain the reason behind this less commercialization. So this was one such question in UPSC 2024. So just try to write, try to search about this, and in tomorrow's session, in the first part itself, we are going to discuss this answer. Okay. So I hope you can do that. I hope you can write this answer. And there is this one prelims question also with respect to this. Okay. The question is this: consider the following statement. According to the Indian Patent Act, a biological process to create a seed can be patented in India. That is first statement. Second is saying, in India, there is no intellectual property appellate board. Plant varieties are not eligible to be patented in India. So which of the statements given above are correct? Okay. So there are three statements here. There are three statements here. First is saying, according to the Indian Patent Act, a biological process to create a seed can be patented in India. Second is saying, in India, there is no intellectual property appellate board. And third is saying, plant varieties are not eligible to be patented in India. So, tell me, which of them are correct? This is a question from 2019. C option. Now, over the period of time, the answer of this question has changed. Over the period of time, the answer of this question has changed. Let me explain why. See, according to Indian Patent Act, a biological process to create a seed can be patented. You know that this is not correct. In India, related to life materials or related to biological process, you cannot get a patent. So that one is incorrect. Third one is correct. Plant varieties are not eligible to be patented in India. This one is correct. In 2019, when this question was there, that in India there is no intellectual property appellate board, this was incorrect in 2019. But later on, what happened that in 2021, the intellectual property appellate board, this was abolished. Okay. This was dissolved. We can say that it was dissolved. So as of now, as of 2025, there is no intellectual property appellate board. Okay. So in today's context, the second statement becomes correct, because the intellectual property appellate board, which was existing in 2019, was resolved later in 2021. Okay. So now the answer has changed. Now the answer would be the option B. But at that time, the answer was option number C, that is 3 only. Okay. So now the things have changed. Now there is no intellectual property appellate board. It has been dissolved now after 2021. Okay. So this answer changes now. Okay. Now, coming to one last topic, honor killing in India. So you might have seen that in recent times, so many news has come up again with respect to honor killing. There was a time of 2005 to 2010 when there was a greater transformation, a transition in the Indian society. There was a transition in the Indian society. Okay. And this transition was having a lot of resistance. Like any transition faces some resistance. If there is any change, there is going to be a resistance towards it. So in the same manner, there was a phase of 2005 to 2010, 2012, when India was undergoing a transition. And at that time also, honor killing was quite prevalent. It was quite the buzzword at that time. But later on, gradually the society started to accept intercaste marriages. Honor killing is the one thing which is mostly related to intercaste marriage. It is something related to intercaste marriage. So what we see that, what we see here, that intercaste marriage is the root cause behind the honor killing, or it is like the factor which leads to the honor killing. Now the question is why it is and where it is prevalent, where it is highly prevalent. If we see it, there is higher prevalence. If we talk about this, there is higher prevalence in case of Maharashtra, in case of Tamil Nadu, in case of Kerala, in case of Telangana. These are the states. These are the states where we see that there is higher prevalence of honor killing. Okay. But at the same time, you have to also understand one thing, that these have also been the centers of social reform, especially anti-caste movement. These are also the states where there is so much anti-caste movements. These are not the states where there is a support from the political parties for casteism. You know that casteism is one thing which is often associated with some of the eastern states of India. Casteism is something which is largely associated with northern and eastern states of India, where political parties, especially, like many a times, many political parties are asking votes in the name of caste. So casteism is a political issue in the case of northern and eastern states. In southern states, the political parties are against casteism. Okay. There are so many political parties which have been formed especially because they were opposing the caste system. Okay. So what we see that if we talk about the politics of this region, if we talk about the political setup, there is a general consensus against caste. Like they are having a consensus against caste hierarchy. But despite this one part, what we see that there is a higher prevalence of honor killing. So why it is so? That why we are having so many honor killings in India? Okay. So why this is there? Okay. Why we are having higher honor killings in these areas? There is an observation that honor killing is prevalent in those areas where casteism is threatened, not where casteism is quite strong. In the areas where casteism is quite strong, there are very fewer cases of inter-caste marriages. There are fewer cases of inter-caste marriages. But in those areas where casteism is threatened, or caste is like many people have a general consensus against the casteism, in these areas there is higher incidences of honor killing. Okay. So why this honor killing means, like honor killing simply means that, like suppose that a person is marrying with another person of different caste, then their family members kill them. Why? Because they see that it is against their caste, it is against their prestige. It is against their prestige. So they kill the person who have married outside caste. It is done by the family members. It is done by the family members, that family members are killing their own members just because they have married outside the caste. That is honor killing. Okay. So now the question is not about the honor killing, that why we are having honor killing in society. That is of course casteism. But the question here is this, that it is having higher prevalence in those states where there is weak caste system. There is a paradox. Okay. There is a paradox here. The paradox is this, like higher honor killing in those states where we have weak caste system. So now the question is why? Why? The answer is, the question here is why it is there. The simple answer is, there is one thing which still matters, and that is family. Family is one thing. It is the one which is protecting and transmitting the caste system. Okay. Family structure. This is the one which is protecting, nurturing. It is the one which is protecting, nurturing, and like transmitting caste system. And how does this occur? Like how we are having this? It is simply because there are so many rituals, marriage arrangements, social expectations. Okay. So how does this, like how it goes? How it goes? It goes simply through rituals. Okay. It goes through the marriage arrangements. Like the prejudices, it become part of the system. People are not being simply fed by the society or the social media. People are also being fed by their family members. They are being given the caste values or caste ideas by their families through the rituals, through the different things. Okay. So this is something like, despite the increase in education, urbanization, and even exposure to new ideas, despite all these things, the prime center of learning is family. Family is the first school. Family is the first school. And the challenge is from there only. Family is the first school of any child. So if the problem is existing within the family structure, then there is going to be more and more cases of honor killing. So for honor killing, we cannot just blame the society at large or political system at large. Like we have to start from the family itself. We have to start from the, like within the house itself. So caste prejudices, caste system or caste stereotypes are starting from the family. The kids, the children, they are learning it from the family. And in the present time, you may have seen that there is a revival of the caste system. There's a caste awakening in India. It was assumed that after a certain period of time, caste will be gone. People will not be talking about caste. But we see that now caste has taken new identities. Caste has assumed new identities. It is flourishing more and more. And as a result of that, we are seeing this honor killing. Okay. So that is also one thing. Reform needs to start from family. Okay. So I hope this part is clear. Okay. So this was one topic. These were the topics which we have discussed today. First one was about election commission editorial. Second thing which we have discussed, like the second topic which we have discussed is proposal for GST reforms. The third part was related to patent filing in India, and fourth was this honor killing. Okay. In tomorrow's session, we will discuss more topic. Okay. And then we will see the remaining things. Okay. No comment on that. Okay. So let's meet tomorrow then. Any question, any doubt? If there is any doubt also, please mention that in the comment box, and then we will discuss it tomorrow. Okay. So thank you everyone. Write the answer for that patent question Tomorrow we will discuss it first thing in the beginning. Okay. And about those classes which has not resumed today, it will start from tomorrow. Thank you everyone. Take care and all the best. Thank you.